is, are you familiar or have you heard of competency-based interview? Any of you? Neenu or Pallavi or Anish, have you heard of this word, competency-based interviewing?
Yeah. We are doing it.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, you are doing. So just to understand and at what level you are, so that I don't repeat, and to get a kind of, to create a kind of a context. Pallavi, yeah, you said you heard about it. So what is your understanding of a competency-based interview?
See, when we are doing a competency-based interview, I'm just making it noise louder. When we are doing it on the competency-based interview, we have certain competency under the parameters at what level we are hiring that persons. So we ask open-ended questions where the person has been given a situation and the person is giving the answer on the basis of the task and the results which are achieving. So it is like a star base. So we do on the parameter of stars, whether it's a full star, half star, or a 3/4 star, like that.
Okay. All right. So you definitely have a little understanding about, that you are saying that you have competencies, then you ask open-ended questions based on these competencies, and the responses are actually literally in the star format, and you give some kind of a rating. All right. Okay. Anish, you also said that you had some understanding of competency based interview.
We have role-based competencies. It's a role-based organization basically, and we do have all roles in place. And in case of whenever there is a vacancy, so we get the JD along with the desired competency, functional and the behavioral part.
Great.
So as far as functional competencies are there, so we do have a technical person in the panel, and they ask more or less case study or direct discussion on the functional competencies.
Excellent.
As far as behavioral part is concerned, so as a HR guy, I create a situation or I do the situation on behavioral part, and then we observe how do he behave on that scenario. So that is the way we do it, and then we capture this all data in one Excel format what we have in place. And accordingly, thereafter, we do the totaling. Based on that totaling, we come to know that whether the mean and mode or what it is. And then we conclude the final comment.
Excellent. Okay. Neenu, are you also familiar?
Yes, we check based on the values we have, whether the person displays those values like teamwork and all. We give them situations and ask them to explain.
You give them situations and then you ask them to explain. Okay. So all three of you mentioned about, competency-based interviews. In fact, you are practicing, you are using them in your own selection and hiring process, right? Okay. So if all of you are using this competency-based interviewing through BEI as a tool or a technology for selecting and hiring the candidate. So what is the purpose? How do you think it's going to improve or impact your hiring process or your selection process by using this competency-based interviewing as opposed to a typical traditional interview which says, hey, if I can just quickly tell a person by looking at him, I make a decision of whether to hire or to not to hire in just 5 minutes of going through the interview process. So what do you think? Anybody, it's an open discussion so that
Yeah, traditionally, normally, those who are taking the interviews or sitting in the interview panel, they normally conduct the interview based on perception. How the person entered into the room, how he himself is sitting, how he is reacting. And sometimes there are...
One second, my God. What is this? Yeah, sorry.
And sometimes there are difference of opinion, because if I am sitting in the that particular interview, so I expect what I like, that kind of answer should come. And that person is very good, because I wanted to match with my thought, my skill, my ways of working. and we are missing the right hiring tool in place. If we have specific competency-based discussion, which help us to put the right person in the right job, rather than perception-based.
Anybody else? Yeah,
by
everybody is
doing,
using, so
yeah,
I want
yeah.
to understand. Yeah.
By doing this kind of open competency-based interviews, we can find a cultural fit for the organization, what we are also looking for.
Okay, I'm writing here that the outcome is, shall I say, okay, you said culture fit, all right?
Right.
Okay, okay. Anybody else? Yeah, what else? So this is outcome, huh? Right? Outcome of that competency-based interview. Yes?
Yeah, fit.
What is the outcome of a traditional interview? Is it absolute culture fit or 50-50 or it's very vague?
Sometimes it's very vague actually, because
shall I
traditionally,
yes and no? He may be a right fit, he may not be a
yeah,
right fit, because sometimes it's like a chance. Okay, fine, he's become a good performer, he performs well. Or maybe sometimes I select a person and he may not also be a good performer. He could be an underperformer, a poor performer, right? Okay. Anything else,
right.
guys? Yeah. Why
And
do you
in
think so?
traditional,
I'm asking you a very, very key question. Why do you
See,
think in a traditional interview, the predictability is yes or no? And why do you think in a competency-based interview, the outcome is more or less the right fit? You get a good fit. Why? Why? What happens in this? What is the process? Look at the process now. What happens in this process? Of course, somebody, Anish said, it has some kind of a bias. Okay. Typically, how do we go about in a traditional interview? We have a list of questions, right? If
yeah,
Pallavi list of Pallavi is an interviewer, for doing a traditional interview, she will have a list of questions and she will ask Anish, if Anish is the candidate, a set of questions. Based on her own subjectivity, her own bias and her own liking and her own impressions, she will say whether Anish has been selected or not, right? Is that so, Pallavi?
right.
Now,
okay.
same position, Pallavi is going to interview Neenu for the same position. You are interviewing for a position of a customer care champion. So for the same position, again she will ask a different set of questions. Again, by her own liking, not liking, her first impressions, whatever, she'll say, hey, Neenu is not the right kind of candidate. Right?
Right.
So what happens here? That means no standardization.
Sorry.
You agree? No standardization of the criteria, that is the questions you use. There is no standardization of questions. Now, Pallavi can be an interviewer, there can be another person interviewer. So different people will have different questions. Sometimes what happens, Pallavi may ask Anish, looking at a resume, more into what Anish did, whatever, forgetting about what is required by the job. You agree?
Absolutely
I will forget
right.
about what I require,
Yes.
but I will
Yes.
go by his resume and start analyzing and discussing about all the things which are there in his resume. So can I say in a traditional versus competency-based interview, in a competency-based, there is more reliability?
Reliability.
Because you are
So,
asking a set of questions, whether Pallavi will ask or Neenu will ask to that candidate, they will be the same questions. They will also demonstrate, she will have a kind of a criteria sheet where the behaviors in terms of what behavioral indicators will be there, anchored with rating scale, saying if she responds this way, it is 1. If she responds in another way, it is 2, 3. So there is a standard set with respect to whatever you are assessing. Then there is reliability, there is validity, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Whether you are going to ask questions or whether another Y person is going to ask questions, it will be the same questions, and based on the responses, the what is being measured will be standardized, right? Okay. Now, having said that, typically, if Nino and Pallavi are two interviewers, how do I know who is a good interviewer and who is not a good interviewer and therefore needs training? How will you decide? Anish is these days is doing a lot of restructuring, working. Anish, you are the HR head. Pallavi and Ninu are two interviewers. So how will you decide who is a great interviewer and who is not and who needs training?
See, first I have to say that what is the success rate?
What is
Let
the
us say there are 5
success rate?
success
Okay.
success rate
So
of the
how
candidate. Yeah.
will you get success rate, or what is the data you will look at when you look at success rate?
Yeah, the number one, how many resume has in place, how many interview took place by individual, and what are the result thereafter interviews. If I
Okay,
come to know that
listen.
he,
See, Anish, this is only just trying to brainstorm so that you have clarity. What did Anish say? Number of resumes. Then he will look at how many people they have been selected. So based on the selections, he will say Nino is a better interviewer or Pallavi is a better interviewer. Is that so? If I have rightly heard it?
no, one more thing is there. That is a 80% is right, and thereafter I will say that the right fitment,
How?
because
What is that you will do, or
right,
what is the data?
yeah, when the assessment sheet will come,
Hmm.
that assessment sheet will tell very clearly out of desired 5 competencies, they are able to match 3,
Hmm.
and the decision has to be taken at senior level whether we should go or not. Based
Okay.
on that, probably the success that I will calculate.
Okay. So Pallavi is a person who has gone through an interview process for a customer care champion, and there are 5 competencies which have been required by that: communication skills, customer focus, achievement and results, okay, and then flexibility and resilience. So the interviewers interviewed her, and she's got really excellent on all 3 of them, 4 of them, okay, and the interviewer has been Ninu, and so next what? That means she is good, and so therefore, if you are assessing Ninu as an interviewer, that means she's a good interviewer. Is that so, Anish?
Yeah, if 4 competencies she is able to manage and 1
Okay.
competency is not up to the
Excellent.
mark, so probably I
Okay.
will take that data.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm actually probing a little more because I'm sure everybody will have this, this conflict, especially HR heads, right? You will recruit people, and you will have always a challenge of who are my good interviewers, and then who needs training in interviewing skills, etc. and etc. Okay, am I audible, guys? Because it's showing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yes, yes.
okay. Interesting. I want all of you do this on your Excel sheet. Are you access to your laptops?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Look at this case. Ashok and Deepak are 2 recruiters from the same company. Okay. Ashok is a person who is always boasting about his recruitment skills. He has a fixed set of questions. I have 5 questions. He will ask the candidates, and then he feels just by looking at the person, he can judge whether he or she can work well or not. He is quick to judge candidates and easily explains why he selects or doesn't select people. Is that okay? You understood what it is? Huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Next. Deepak He is a very quiet person. He will ask always simple questions or competency-based questions to the applicant. He tries to understand the body language as well, his interests and potential using a BEI, etc. Okay. Now, the challenge for all of you who are HR heads: who is a good interviewer and who is not a good interviewer? Only this data is given. Then tell me who is a good interviewer here.
I will go with Deepak.
Oh, you will go with Deepak. And others are keeping mum. Are they going to be on the fence? Nino?
Yes, yes, with Deepak.
Deepak.
With
And
Deepak.
Pallavi?
Yes, with Deepak.
But you need data, no? You want to see, how can I say with conviction that Deepak is a good interviewer? So today, L&D people also have to substantiate with data. All right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, quickly use your MS Excel. Okay? Just use your Excel and just copy this data, guys. What? Just put this. You can put A, B, C, D. So these are the employees: Ramesh, Jack, Mary, Kabir, Veronica, Arpita, Samir. These are the candidates. This is the rating given during the interview. Okay? And this is the rating given by the BU head at the end of 6 months, performance rating. Okay? Now, to understand who's a good interviewer, you can always go back if you're in the recruitment department. Whenever you interview people, okay, please take their ratings and then go back, and after 3 months or 6 months, look at their performance rating. And by doing a very simple statistical thing called correlation, you can get to know how good is the interviewer or how bad is the interviewer. Okay? So what I want you to do is just put this data, rating of the interview, performance rating in the Excel sheet, and write these names quickly. We are going to do correlation, how you can do through a statistical analysis through with data, that who is a good interviewer and who is a bad interviewer. Have you put this data?
Yeah, with this writing.
Yeah, please open the Excel and do this. Then somebody can share it. I'll tell you what to do first. First, put this in the Excel. And please give me a thumbs up so that there's one more data to be copied. You will not get this anywhere, so I want you to really learn this. Please give me a thumbs up, and all three of you have to put it in Excel. Done? Done, guys?
No, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute.
Yeah. No worry, no worry. Just give me a thumbs up. Take your time, but
Yeah,
give me a
sure.
thumbs up.
Jack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, one second. Everybody, yes. Also, you will have already also the same names. Okay. You have to put rating of the interview and performance rating.
Yeah, rating and performance rating we wrote.
No. Yeah, this is another data. One is for Deepak and the other is for Ashok. Okay. One is for Deepak and one other is for Ashok.
Okay. This data also we have to capture.
Yeah. Just capture
This
this.
data, this data is different.
Finished? Okay. Finished, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to, shall I do stop sharing? Because I want one of you to put that Excel sheet out. Can anybody share that Excel sheet? Because the rest can do it on their own. I'm going to help you all to do what? Can anybody share your Excel sheet?
Hold on.
Great. Okay. So you have, this is Deepak's data and this is Ashok's data. You have two people who have interviewed the same set of candidates and who have been given a rating, which is different, obviously. Both the interviewers have given different ratings. And then there is also the performance rating. Obviously, that will be the same. No, give up. Can you actually put Ashok's data below, if you don't mind? Okay. Yeah. So typically what we can do is to give it a more support by data, we can do analytics. We can use something called correlation, and I'm sure most of you are aware of it. It is a statistical tool. So higher the correlation is a good interviewer, lower the correlation is a bad interviewer. Now correlation, I will show you the slide, but because Anish is so when you say correlation, when one variable goes up, then even the other variable is going up. So correlation vacillates between -1 to +1. Okay, +1 means very high correlation. -1 means absolutely no correlation. Okay, 0 means there is no positive correlation and there is no negative correlation. But if you have something between 0 to 0.3, it is as good as not existing. Correlation is not existing. But anything which is at least 0.3 to 0.5 or 6 is okay, average. But if there is something like 0.5 or 6 to 8 and 9, that means it's a very good correlation. So how will you establish is a good interviewer if there is a high positive correlation? To do that, now Anish, I will guide you. If you are the one who is actually showing me the Excel sheet, what you need to do is you just have to go to this effects. Can you see function formula, effects, formula? Next, you can formula, yeah. Go to insert function. No, I just saw that. See, if you click on that, you will have correlation, coral, C-O-R-R-E-L. Just click. What you need to do is click on that coral. Yeah. No, you said no, there only. Yeah. Delete that and write C-O-R-R-E-L. Then go. You will get it. Let me, yes. Now say okay. Now you got array 1, array 2. What are they? They are those two variables. What you do, array 1. So now you are taking Deepak's data. Just go to which one? Don't go up from that. What is it? Rating. Click on that 5. Click array 1. Scroll down. So let me just check because it's so small. I'm not able to. C3 to C9. Correct. Array 2. Go to performance rating. D. Right. Now, okay. What is the correlation? Can you make it a little bigger, Anish? I'm struggling to see.
I think.
Okay.
I think Nino is sharing, I believe.
Okay. I can see now to some extent. Done. No problem. Now I can see. Good. So what is the correlation?
0.107.
0.1, which is very, very as good as no correlation. Got it? Now, look at the graph, how it looks. Select both the data, that is the one which array 1 and array 2. Select both the data. Select both the data. No. You have not selected both the data. No. You have to, that's it. Go to insert. Then go to this one, charts. Next, down. If you see there is something called chart, CHARTS. No. Next. Go right. No. Insert, you have to go to a scatter. Correct. Click on that. Click. First one. Click. Now, click on that. Okay. Now, click on any blue point. Click on any blue point. No. Now that is over. You have got a chart now down. Now click on any blue point. Okay. Now click on your right pad and then add trend line. Yes. Linear trend line. Linear. Okay. You already got it. Can you see the trend line and can you say there is no correlation? So what does it go to prove? That means that this person who is boasting that he is such a great interviewer, there is no correlation between his interviewing score and the performance rating. Are you getting it? Now, Anish, can you show for the other on your own? Delete this and do the other one. For Ramesh. No. Okay, you can start with graph also. This also you should delete, otherwise again it will come off. Now, first do the correlation. No, insert. No. If you have to do the correlation, you have to first go to formula, insert function. Okay. Good. Okay. What is the correlation?
0.642.
So it's definitely a positive
Good correlation.
and good correlation. That means that there is correlation between the interviewing rating and the performance rating.
Performance
Now you
rating.
want to see a graph? You have to delete it. You missed out something. Anish, you have to delete it. Do it again. You have to select the data first. Both the data. Go to insert. Go to chart. Click on that. Then click on any button. Add trend line. Then linear trend line, and that's it. Can you see now how the trend line is going up? That means there is a correlation. Now, I don't know. I'm so sorry we did this, but Venkat has just come in. Yeah. Venkat, Murthy, good afternoon, Venkat.
Yeah, hi, Nirmala. Good afternoon, everyone.
So, I think Pallavi can, while Anish is doing, Pallavi will tell just now what we were doing, so that it's a recap for her. Okay?
Yeah.
Nirmala, I am the person who is holding these charts and all these things. So should I brief it?
Pardon? You are the person?
Who is doing all this
Yeah,
Excel sheet? Should I
Pallavi,
brief it?
yeah,
You are doing
yeah,
it,
please,
is
please.
it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, not Anish. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, great. So, Pallavi, just explain it to others.
Yes.
Ninu, have you understood?
Ma'am, I'm working on my Mac and somehow it says NA when I'm doing the correlation formula. So I'll just
Okay,
work
so what
again.
Ninu, I'm saying, what Pallavi will do is, she will be the instructor now. So let her take you through the entire thing. Okay? But
Okay.
I'm there to guide her. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
First of all, what were we saying? That how do we actually, through data, decide on who is a good interviewer and who is not a good interviewer? Because in organization, as you know, that training is a strategic function today. So a lot of trainers, a lot of interviewers say, hey, we have great, but does your data tally? Is there correlation that, when you are interviewing, are you selecting the right kind of candidate who can perform? Because ultimately it is not selecting, but he should be able to perform on the ground. So you have to look at two sets of data for the same candidates. Yeah. From now, Pallavi.
Yes. So there are two candidates. One is Deepak and one is Ashok. So we have a database for Deepak and as well as for Ashok. So we will find out what is the correlation between what is the success factor to find it out whom we need to provide a training for that and who is the best interviewer.
Who is a good interviewer and who is a poor interviewer. Right.
So this is the database for Deepak and the another database is for Ashok. So we are finding a correlation between for a Deepak interview. So what we are doing to finding a correlations, we are going to
formula.
Insert function. So there is a correl functions. So
yeah, Ninu, you had a challenge. 1 second, Pallavi, if you hang on. Yeah. Ninu, you had a challenge. What is it?
The array 1, array 2 is not displaying in my laptop. It just says.
So sometimes what you need to do is when you are asking for function, you should ask for statistical data. Sometimes what happens? Then in the functional, when you look at functional formula, ask for statistical, then it will come out correlation, regression, all that. Okay.
Okay.
It's just a question of figuring out where it is for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm selecting a data for rating performance for Deepak. Then for array 2, it is performance rating. So the correlation data is 0.10, which is not a good one. If we have to see in the chart,
literally no correlation. Yeah, if you now you can also see a graphical format. Venkat, are you able to see?
Yes, Nirmala.
Okay. So you can see the trend line, how it is almost like straight, as good as no correlation.
Okay.
Hello?
so this is for Deepak. Now we will try to see for Ashok also.
Venkat, are you able to follow?
Yes, Nirmala.
Okay.
So it is 0.643, which is the good correlations, which is higher than the 0.5.
You can also see these graph, scatter graph. Select, insert.
So it is upward.
So can you see a graph trend line which is going upwards? So that means there is correlation between the rating of the interview and the performance rating. Got it, guys? Okay. All right. Anish, you also got it? Ninu? All right.
Yes,
Yeah, I
it's
did
working.
it.
Yes, Nirmala.
Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you. Yeah. Now if you can pull.
I did it.
So if you recall, Anish, you said that, we look at the competencies, if they are high. So that was all the process, right? But how do I exactly know he is the right hire or he is not the right hire? It's only, we can check. Typically what we do, let me actually give you some more information. Typically what we do is to see the yield rate and the throughput in terms of performance. We take every 6 months the interview ratings and also the performance ratings and see whether the correlation is there and whether it is really a good one, very high in 0.6 and above. Then we know that yes, my interviewers are selecting the right kind
Not able to hear you.
You're not able to hear me.
In between, the connectivity is going.
Now
Now it's better.
it's better.
Something.
Please let me know whenever you're not able to hear, guys. Okay. All right. So when you actually look at both the sets of data, you will be easily be able to find out who are your good interviewers and whether your poor interviewers need any kind of a training. As I said, when we looked at right at the beginning, typically when we do a conventional interview, what happens? We looked at the procedure or the process. What happens? The questions are poorly designed and structured, right? There is no measuring kind of a system at all. No scoring system. Interview has no standard format. And the process can be purely subjective. So obviously it is prone to your whims and your biases. Okay. And the process has poor reliability and validation. So if all this is there, obviously your outcome is what? It's like a hit and trial. It is like, to be typically what I say is like the coin, what is that we call it? When I toss a coin, I may select the right person, I may not select the right person. It's more by chance. Okay. So why do you want to have a competency-based interview? Because when you have a competency-based interview, it is not leaving the process to chance. It is a robust process where there is a good amount of reliability, validity, and predictability. Okay, guys? All right. Okay. So I also said, when you're using a competency-based interview, where does it start? as all of you have actually stated. It starts with the position or the role where you start looking at what are the competencies I look at for a role or for the position. As somebody already mentioned about functional competencies,
Functional.
right?
Yeah.
Functional.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking about functional competencies, then I'm looking at what? Knowledge and
Skill.
If I'm doing a competency-based interview for a knowledge and skill, I'm going to create a format. If you recall, we did something called, what did we do?
Job element
Elements.
analysis.
Yeah.
Right? We did
Right.
job element analysis by dividing the job into various elements and finding out what knowledge, what skill is required. For a recruiter, if I say, for example, it starts from sourcing, screening, selection, right? All these things. Now, when I'm doing this job element analysis, I will also have some kind of intimation saying that, hey, we want plug and play. That means as of yesterday, our good interview recruiter has gone away. So we want 100% readiness job. Guy who has 100% readiness. What will I do? Then I will not look at, when we looked at job element analysis, did we not do threshold requirement? And what?
Must.
Differentiating. No?
Yeah.
Right? Now, when I say threshold requirement and differentiating requirement, the knowledge and skill levels will be very high because there is a gap between threshold and differentiating. So if I don't want to pay a very high salary right now and I have a lot of time, I will say I will take somebody who's at a threshold and I'll give him more training because it will take at least 1 month for him to learn and then come to readiness, right? But if I don't have the time, then I'll take somebody who's at a differentiating level and then I will say, hey, he can perform right as of yesterday. But in terms of compensation, threshold guy may come cheaper, differentiating guy may work out expensive. Are you getting me? That is a strategy which we will do, saying that, hey, right now I don't want to take somebody at a very high cost who's a differentiator. I'll take only a threshold guy. I don't want what plug and play kinds. I'll just take somebody who's at a 50% readiness, who has just amount of knowledge and all, and I will then give him the skills. Okay, so what will you do? You will then do a interview of his knowledge and skill based on that job element analysis which you have done, not based on your own gut feeling of knowledge and skill. Got it? So that means it will have a scoring sheet. It will have level 1, level 2, level 3, whatever is required. Now, next is behavioral competencies. So for behavioral competencies, what have you done? You have done a competency mapping where you have right? These behavior indicators also have which are called, what are bars? Anchored, rating, right? Say for example, I'll have a list of indicators. Now, those indicators, I will also do them as behavioral rating scales. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 4 and 5. Okay. 1 could be the lowest, showing the presence, and 5 could be the highest. So when I interview for all these competencies with this behavioral rating scale sheet, I'm able to mark, or I'm able to certify based on whatever he has stated, whether he is low or whether he is highest. Getting me, guys? So don't you think now you have a proper, very, very, what is the structured kind of a sheet wherein you can score the responses of the candidate, right?
Sure.
So I will just stop this. Can I clear it? Okay. So therefore, what did we say? When we are talking about a competency-based interview, did we not say that the questions are structured and predetermined, right? Then each question will also have some follow-up questions. Then candidates are expected to provide examples. Then based on the consistent and inconsistent responses of whether it is thoughts, ideas, actions, etc., then you are able to rate a person. So as I said earlier, you are using a technique called behavioral event interviewing to do competency-based interviewing. Now, what is this behavioral-based interview, behavioral event interviewing? That's something very interesting. Okay, you should know what is BEI. Yeah, just before that, this is what I said. Correlation means, -1 to +1. Strong positive, strong negative. Okay, and so like for example, I said, plus minus 0.2 is negligible. Plus minus 0.4 is okay, low correlation. But if you have plus minus between 4 and 7, it is substantial. Where we saw that what is it? Ramesh had. Who was that? Ramesh or Deepak? I think it was Deepak who had correlation here. Okay, so this is what it is. I can just send this also. I think Vilma will send it. All right.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I showed you all these graphs. You did it yourself. Okay. So I want you all to understand how we do a BEI, so that when we actually go into this real practice of a BEI and a competency-based interview, I want to you to use this STAR method. Okay, we will have a candidate, an observer, and an interviewer. Now, what is first of all a BEI? Behavior event interview. What is this technique we are talking so much about? This technique was actually propounded by first the great psychologist called McClelland. Have you heard of McClelland? Anybody? Who in fact is the person who actually started this competency theory, who said if you have competencies, you will perform well. If you don't have competencies, you won't have performed. So he said only through BEI, you can actually then identify or recognize whether a person has competencies or not. Okay. Now, what is it all about? This roots of BEI have been taken from another scientist called, I don't know if anybody heard of, Flagnanin. Have you heard of Flagnanin? No. So if you go through a performance management, you will see that Flagnanin was the one who actually came up with this theory of, what is it called? I will just write it here itself. The theory of critical incident method. Critical incident method. Earlier when this, I'm sorry, critical incident. Earlier, when competency method was not there in performance management, when we had to evaluate people, we looked at critical incident method. So here what you are only looking at incident situation, but when you're talking about a behavioral event, then you are adding all the behaviors which are involved in this incident. Okay. Now, when you're using this technique, what it exactly says is that, hey, the past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior. Everybody agrees to it and everybody is also practicing it. But any past behavior? No. The point to understand here is when you're doing a competency-based interview, if you are checking for, say, customer focus, then what should be your question? Tell me a situation or tell me a time when you had to deal with a very difficult customer. How did you go about? So what are you saying? You are wanting to use the BEI method to test that particular competency. But if you leave it like, you want to check all the competencies of the person, which you are not interested. You are only interested in whether this person has those list of competencies which are required by the role. Okay. Now, having said that, how would you like the candidate to respond? You have to really make him understand. It's like a story. So when you, there is somebody who, it's like a story. So what you should do, first of all, he has to narrate the situation. For example, I said, tell me at a time when you had to deal with a difficult customer. So first of all, a situation, which was, a difficult customer situation. He has to tell the situation. Then he has to talk about the task. What was the task? He has to resolve that problem. So what was the problem he has to resolve? Then what kind of an action did he take? What did he do? How did he go about? And in the end, what was the outcome? Very clear? Situation, task, action, and result. Now, by doing this, what is the advantage for an interviewer? Tell me. Anish, you will have to mute it. Yeah, Pallavi, since you have already gone through, when I use a star method to understand everything and ask him to, in detail, tell me about a situation and how did he go through, what happened, and in the end, what was the result? How will you assess it?
That is right.
Nirmala, when we give a situation to the candidate, okay, the candidate has to narrate a story where whenever he's narrating a story, there should be a situation. Then what is the action which he have taken? Okay, and from the action, what is the results which he have received? If there is no result, then it is only ST and A. R will be missing there. If it is only situation task and he had not taken an action and there is no result, then ST. So there is again not a full stop. So whenever you are narrating an incident, the person has to give a complete answers how he had taken the situation and what is the results he had achieved by doing that thing.
Anish, you will need to mute it. Anish, Anish, you have to mute, please.
We have to correct it again. So there could be a possibility of some error.
Can I send a message to Anish?
Let me go through it.
Can somebody send a message to Anish? Anish?
Yes, it's absolutely.
Please mute. I'm not able to proceed actually.
Okay.
Anish, are you there? Oh. Kindly mute. I hope Anish, please mute. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, guys, sorry.
Okay, no, it's over. There was some urgent call from site. No, it's okay.
This is the most important thing.
Yeah, he's done with now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem, no problem. So when we are using a BEI, now it is not about giving a hypothetical situation. Okay, Pallavi? When we are doing a BEI, it is not about hypothetical situation. Yes, in an interview, sometimes depending on certain situations and certain roles, we can give hypothetical situations. But here in this context, when I'm talking about a BEI being used for competency-based interview, we are not using a hypothetical situation. Okay, we are purely going by this premise that past behavior predicts future behavior. So therefore, the situation also has to be something in the past. Okay, but not something, every day you're doing some kind of a situation and you are going to tell that. No, it is based on what I've written here, a critical incident. A critical incident. Now, earlier on, we were actually doing a BEI, wanting to know all the kind of strengths, weaknesses, competencies of a person or a candidate. But today we are become more focused because we don't have the time. We want to get, or we want to hire the right talent. Talent means competencies. So therefore, what we are fixing on is the role based, in the sense, what are the competencies which are required by this role. Okay, so I said a simple example for a customer champion or a customer care executive, customer focus. So if that is a very key competency, now I want to know whether he has a focus. So I will take him through a BI tool, asking him, hey, tell me about a time in the recent past where you had to deal with an ugly customer. How did you go about it? Okay, and what was the action and what was the result, right? So what will he do? He will actually narrate, tell me exactly a story like form as to what was the situation. He will explain clearly what happened, and then what was the task. Means I had to resolve the task within 3 days, within some kind of a time frame. What kind of an action he took. Now you said that we will look at result, but in a BI, what I do, sometimes the action can be positive, a result can be positive, result can be negative, in the sense it could be a success or a failure, right? But your action, so we do something called thematic analysis. What does it mean? The entire thing he has described, especially the verbs, especially the action he has taken, I do an analysis of all the action words and see whether they relate to in the behavior to be demonstrated. Are they at a rating 1, rating 2, rating 3 or 4? Are you getting me, Pallavi? That's where is the difference. Because very often what happens is sometimes you have done the best action, but sometimes you may not have achieved the result. That's why we clearly state, just tell us what has happened, what was the result, so that then we do an analysis and find out, does he really have this customer focus, right? Did he do everything? What is, so the focus for us is the action, the verbs, where we are going to analyze everything. Okay, yeah. So let me remove this annotate. Okay, now a person who becomes really very good an interviewer, when you are actually doing a BI and using a STAR method, you need to be very good at probing. That is one technique. It is not easy as said, oh, I can probe very well. It is not as easy, because when he is narrating a situation or a task or action, you have to probe further and further. Why do we probe? Why do we probe? You want to get more data. So that if you don't have data, how will you analyze them? So you want to get more data. Okay. So let me just give you a small, what is it? I'll give you a small probing question. Okay. We can do it here on the screen. Pallavi will be the interviewer, and I'll use two ladies. I will spare Anish, and Nino will be the. Yeah, I'm sparing you. Nino will be the candidate.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Nino, because she's young. So I said she's a person who's just come out from the college. Okay, so the script for Pallavi is the question she has to ask Nino is, tell me about a time when you worked with a team. Now, what is it? She has to probe so much to come to an understanding, saying that she's a good, she has to test what team building, team worker, the competency. Okay. She has to test the team building competency, the team worker. So the candidate has just come out from a college and is working on a group project. Okay. So let us see how Pallavi will ask to probe and probe to find out about all her team building skills of Neenu. Okay. Neenu,
Yes,
is there
ma'am.
clarity?
Yes.
Pallavi is going to test for which competency?
Team building.
Team building. But she is going to use what? A question method, a BEI, and probing. How we are going to learn probing, how to probe. Just by asking one question, are you a team builder? So, okay, let her ask. I won't give lead questions. Okay. Yeah. Come, Pallavi. And observer will be Anish and Venkat, who will write down some questions, what Pallavi has said. One will ask write down the questions, Anish, and Venkat can write the responses of Neenu. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Any no?
A little
Hi,
louder.
Pallavi.
You have about
Yeah.
5 minutes to do. Huh?
Yes. Ninu, I just want to understand, see, you are working on a group projects and all these things. So I believe you are working in such a good team. So I just want to understand your experience in team. So how you handle a team, how you have taken a lead, and which are the teams where you have worked with?
Yes. So
Yes.
in college, I have, been the team leader for a number of
Okay.
projects.
Okay.
And I was responsible for making sure that everybody participates and for making sure that the project is completed according to the timeline,
Okay.
and also for presenting it on behalf of the team.
Okay. So any I really appreciate that you have already worked in such a great team. But while handling, you may have a challenge which you have faced where you have taken a lead and you have proceeded that you are a good team leader, where you are even team member and your subordinate have appreciated for that. Any such kind of event where you have taken such kind of or any such kind of situation where you have faced it?
Yes, there has been a situation where there were disagreements between the team members, and I had to mediate for them and ensure that that it is resolved and we are on the same page. So that so I had to explain to them that our goal is the same, although we have disagreements. So yes, that was resolved and we worked together on it.
Okay, can you like to give certain focus on that things, how you have done it? Because we will also like to know it.
Yes. So what we did is we scheduled a meeting when we knew that there were disagreements and the team was being split into two different teams because of these two people having different opinions. So then
Okay.
we all got into a meeting together. We understood what were the positive and the negative points from both the parties, from both the team members, and then we decided on what is best. So we made them also understand what would be the risks if we go according to one person's plan and if we don't consider the other person's plan. So considering all the risks and what could be the positive outcome from that, we decided on what we need to do.
Okay, very good. But you see, I do understand you have taken a lead in all these things. But you might see in a team, you always get a people who are very good, and there are people who are somewhere you need to hold a hands. So, any such kind
Yeah.
of situations where you find a team member where you require a holding a hand?
Yes, there were a few members who were not completing the tasks. They wouldn't respond in spite of having tasks assigned to them. So that was affecting the team performance. So I had to support them, a bit of hand holding for them to ensure, to check, where is the area where they are not able to perform, what is the support that they need, and helping them to complete their work.
Okay, so was it bit successful for that, or
Yes, it
were
was.
the behavior has been changed?
Yes, it was successful. It's just that they needed some more clarity on what the project was and how their work was contributing to the overall success of the project. So once they understood that, they knew how they need to work so that we all achieve the goal.
Good, very good. I'm very much impressed. So you must be have been rated a high for that, and you have been recommended for so many groups for leading a project in your college, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right, Pallav.
Okay, okay, good.
Thank you, Pallavi, and thank you, Ninu. All right. Okay. So, Pallavi, well, I'm just using you. Don't feel bad.
No,
So
it's
what
okay.
happens, Pallavi, when you find a candidate like Ninu, you'll say she's very good. Oh, she can speak so well. She can work very well in a team. She can bring teams together, and you hire her. After 3 months or 6 months, you find that, hey, my God, she's not able to handle difficult teams, and then she's not able to perform. And you will say, oh my God, did I do a mistake? Huh? Now just look at the script. I just wrote few things. Just look at the soap. Hey, Pallavi, is it easy to ask questions?
It is very easy to ask questions.
It's very easy to ask questions. But is it easy to get the right responses?
No.
No. But why?
You have to probe more. You have to understand the personality also.
Because you don't want responses the way they suit you. You want to know the real Ninu, right? You want to know the real Ninu, because when she works, it is a real. It's not just, trying to say yes or trying to say that you do everything what is required by the current interviewer. So in fact, if you see how to handle a team, so you went about saying, hey, how to handle a team. While handling, you have, see, the first instant itself, when we are going ahead with the BI, we have to first of all ask for a situation. Tell me about a time when you handled certain things, right? When you handled certain things. Then say, yes, I've handled certain things. What kind of team did you handle? Okay. Did you handle a team which was very difficult, which was very challenging? Can you tell me a situation where you had to handle? Got it? She'll come out with a story. Now, if you look at it, Ninu's, I don't know if the observer has actually made a note of it, you'll find that most of them were outcomes. She said, there was disagreement, it got resolved. Then she said, so there were pressure. So within the timelines, I was able to actually lead those teams. Then I was able to succeed. We did hand holding. Now, how will you rate her? Because there is no behavior which can be observed and measured. So when you are doing a situation and analysis, a BI, you are looking for behavior where she has demonstrated and what you can actually measure and put it in a rating. Now, what is happening in the entire dialogue? Very little. For example, what is that she did to handhold? That is behavior. What is that she did to succeed? What was the kind of pressure she had to bring about, there was some difference of opinion and we brought them on. So what did she do to bring people on the same page? Behavior, action, verb, verb, verb. I have to look out for verb words. So depending on those verb words, I will be able to say whether she was a high performer or a low performer. Are you getting me? Very clear. Ninu, did you notice that? Huh?
Yes.
Your
yes.
focus was more on outcomes. Your focus was more on results. But I, as an interviewer, results, yes, I'm not looking at result. I'm also looking at the entire process. What did you do? How did you go about? Then what? What happened? That is called probing. Are you getting me, Pallavi? Huh? I mean, I'm just, so we will do another one with the other pair, Anish and Venkat, so that you all can be the observers. Okay. As an HR head, normally these kind of things will happen. Okay. So, Anish, you are the candidate. Okay. You are working on a research project. All right. Now your interviewer is Venkat. So he is asking you a question. Describe a time your credibility was questioned and how did you react? Okay. So we want to see how Venkat is going to probe and see how you are going to actually talk about, what is that you did to establish your credibility, because we want a credible person. And the question for you is, at my last job during a research project, I had a disagreement with my supervisor who didn't believe that I could meet my deadline. All right. So this supervisor is your Venkat. So I mean the interviewer who is saying, hey, now your credibility is questioned and how did you react? Okay. So let us see how Venkat and Anish will do this probing. Venkat is the interviewer and Anish is the candidate.
Okay.
Just one or two probing questions.
Yeah.
Venkat, are you there?
Hi. Yes, Nirmala. Yes.
Yeah, Anish, be ready. Okay. Yeah. Just I want to see, because probing is also an art and a technique which can be, which is trainable. So.
Hi, Anish.
Hi.
Hi, Anish.
Anish is not in the habit of, being a candidate. That's why I made him a candidate. To be in the shoes of a candidate and see how does it feel like.
Good.
Yeah, Anish,
Yeah, please.
how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah. So, can you explain your achievements in last company? What are the achievements? What are the projects you handle?
Yeah, sure. In my previous company, I had 3 to 4 projects which I completed in time, and out of that, there are too many.
Anish, you can actually look at those work which you do as an HR head, all those projects. Okay.
Yeah.
So that you are comfortable.
No, that is what I was imagining, that only what to talk.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah. So there was a good project which I would like to share with you is which my company has given me, and the project myself was there, and along with me there were 4 teammates I got to work on that particular project, and they all were on distance. So it is big challenge from distance to get connect and to work together. So yes, so initially we got the connections, understand each other's, and then we find out the who are based on what. So we made a list of that who can contribute what particular things to the project, and thereafter we have overall made the summary. Then definitely that would have helped us to know my teammates, what is their plus points, which area they are very strong, and based on that we made the to-do list, and that helps us to do our project in time.
Okay. So, have the project was succeed and within the timelines, everything?
Yeah, we are on bank on the time.
And what is the appreciation from the company? Have you whether the team received any appreciation from the main supervisor or the team management?
Yeah, in return we got 2 more projects to do.
Okay. So is there nothing went wrong? Everything is you succeed 100%, or is there any loopholes, like any missed?
No, absolutely. It went well as per our plan. We use the project management tool in place, so which tool has helped us a lot. And definitely the team was very enthusiastic and
Venkat, I'll give you
motivated
a
because the
lead.
big.
I will give you a lead, Venkat, as an interviewer.
Yeah.
See, Anish is doing several projects. So the key thing to ask him is like, in one of the projects, there is this question of, not completing in time, deadlines, and the team members or the project members were not in sync with what he wanted to actually achieve. So you will have to, and then his credibility also was questioned. So just probe into it in the sense, how did he go about in that project? What did he do? How did he bring the team together, etc. Okay? A specific project.
Yeah, Anish. So may you know in a little bit say you already said your team is very distance and connectivity is very difficult. So may you know how you monitored your people, whether they connected or not, and they're doing 100% your job within the time. So how you are monitoring that?
Yeah, that is what I mentioned. We had a to-do list in place, and weekly we used to connect to just see the progress of the report. And if somebody is behind, so then we all as a team support the individual to cop up and be on the timeline.
Yeah. Is there
So
any
weekly
disagreement
review.
happened for any task? What you have planned? Is there any disagreement within the team happened or not?
No, very young guys were there, so we didn't had any disagreement in place. So we understood each other, we help each other, we listen each other, and based on that we have decided who will do what. So very less opportunity for disagreement.
Okay.
Okay.
I will stop you here. Okay. Because, yeah. Now, very often, this is for everybody. Very often, what we do is, as an interviewer, we get to hear saying that we did this, we did that. So the interviewer has to pause and say, yes, Anish, but I want to know, what did
What you did.
you did to Anish guessed it. What did you did to support? No, because very often we keep
Okay.
saying we did. Okay, what did you do?
Yeah.
What did, or what is that you did to support them? Because we say support. Again, what is that kind of a support? What was the action there when we talk about support, right? So these are some of the key questions. Sometimes what we get lost in saying that, yes, I did this, I did that, or we did that. But no, here we are assessing the person. So therefore, I want to know what is his capability, what has he done actually, what were the words, what kind of a behavior has he demonstrated, what is that I can observe from the situation and from everything what he has stated. Very often you will find that people will only talk about adjectives, results, outcomes, but we have to go back again and again saying that, hey, yes, I understand, but then bring him back to what is that you did, how did you go about it. Okay, so what we will do is, guys, we'll actually come back, and then what we
Nirmala,
will, yeah.
yeah, Nirmala, one small question just to
Yes.
get more clarity for all. Normally, in interviews, we keep hearing what part from the most of the candidate, and then we have to help them to know the how part is more important in interview. How you did it, that how should come more than what he did. So probably that help us to select the right candidate on behavioral part.
So whenever we talk about what is only the outcome, right?
Yeah.
The task at hand, what is, what was supposed to be closed. So very often what happens, the person is focusing on, okay, what he did, and that's it, he closes. But the means, or as you rightly stated, how, even in performance management today, we are talking about just not what of the target or what of the performance, but we are also talking
how is
about
important.
how of the performance, means how did you go about. For example, there is a sales manager, right? There is a sales manager. He has 10 sales people under him, working in different regions. Typically, what does the sales manager have? He has a target to achieve quarter on quarter. Got it? Now,
Right.
the target has to be achieved through these 10 salespeople. So his job description and what will be his performance, he has to achieve the target. But how should he be achieving the target? There are certain competencies. That means through teamwork, through leadership, not by doing it himself. Correct? So there are
Right.
two sales managers. A sales manager, rather than holding team meetings, rather than helping them to plan, schedule everything and hand holding, what a poor sales manager will do, he will take up the job on himself, all the monkeys on his shoulder, and he will keep doing it, just like a salesman. But he has achieved the target. So will you rate him as a good sales manager or a poor sales manager? He has achieved the
Poor.
target.
Despite of that, we'll say it's poor.
Sorry, because this guy's role is not, he has to achieve, but the means is also important. That means he has to hold meetings, because over a period of time, he's not going to be a good sales manager. He's only a good salesman. Maybe I should
Correct.
demote him, make him a good salesman and give him more bonuses. Because
Right.
good sales manager's role description is different from a sales manager's job description. Got it now? Very clear? Huh?
Right. Right.
So that's where in a performance management also, what of the performance and also how of the performance, right? How means where all your competencies are taken into account. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll take a quick break of 10 minutes, guys. It is now 3:58 or 4 o'clock. Let us be back at 4:10 and you will have something very, very interesting to do then. Okay.
Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. All right. This is for a later time. Okay, guys. So let us quickly then, all of you are seasoned, tenured professionals. Okay. So typically when we talk about an interview, there are three elements which we need to look into. The first is good understanding of body language, right? What do you think? What kind of a body language you need to maintain, and also what are the things you have to look out for in a candidate? Typically, because all of you are tenured, so I'm just asking, when you talk about body language.
Whether he is very attentive or not, very responsible behavior, what we say that when his face value, we can make it very easily, whether he is aligned to the discussion or not, or whether he is creating or no, making the bluff, that easily we can find out. And second, the postures of body can always talk that whether he is open-minded person or no very inward kind of person. So that can easily make it out. Postures.
Postures. Okay. So
Introvert,
yes.
hey, yeah, introvert.
Okay. All right. Pallavi, you want to say anything?
Yes, if he's whether he's folding hands, so it is where it shows whether he's open or closed. Then second is like that how he's sitting, whether he's sitting towards the way you are sitting, or he's very showing the in a very easy manner. So it shows its reluctantness. The eye contacts, whether he's giving so by showing the confidence level, and so whether he's into the subject or not, that you come to know.
Okay. Nino?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to mention eye contact, Pallavi.
Okay. Okay. All right. Very important. So all of you agree that body language is very important, and especially when you are interviewing, you want to look out for the candidate's body language, right? Say, for example, we typically say he needs to have an open body language, right?
Yes.
Open. So what do we mean by open body language? I don't know if you can see. So typically people come, you know, so what does it mean? It means you're trying to shut off, right? It's a closed body language. When you are also talking, tell me something about yourself, and he is doing like this, huh? you're not able to communicate well, he's actually shutting off everything. It's a very closed body language. Okay. Then if you're trying to slouch, and stoop, so somewhere you are hiding, you are not very confident, etc. So typically you'll come across people who are very open with their arms, okay, with their way of sitting postures, all right, and the shoulders are also not drooped, and they are quite up and firm, and they are looking at it. It's like, they're open about, okay, you tell me and I will answer. They're not wanting to hide anything. So some people keeping like that, right? But you also, from the interviewer perspective, just think, okay, all right, Pallavi, tell me something about yourself. Okay. Yeah, tell me. There are many people who do that. They're all, listening. Yes, I'm listening to you. Don't worry. I'm listening. So you're not going to get the best out of the candidate. In fact, I have a very interesting, visuals on body language, and I'll send it across to all of you. Okay, very interesting, especially, then you will understand how important is body language. As you know, that the body actually speaks out. So it communicates a lot. So body language is very, very important. And because we're not actually dealing with that part of it here, I'll send you 2-3 attachments on that. Here, I would only like to say that, yes, your postures have to be really very positive, open, which is called an open body language. Do not actually have any barriers, arm barriers or slouching. Maintain the eye contact. And so when you look out for such cues, in the candidate, you will tend to know, like, especially when he is narrating a situation, a critical incident, you must look into his eyes and you can make out whether he is faking. Like, a lot of people come up with this saying that, in a BEI, you can actually fake. You can put up any kind of, come up with some kind of situations. But let me tell you, with my 30 years of experience, I have been doing BEI, verbatim, coding and all that. You really can't, because when you take him through 3 or 4 situations, if the person is pausing, thinking a lot and saying, that means he's trying to actually manufacture some kind of a thing. You can make out, right? So when he's coming up with the situation very, very naturally, automatically, then you know that. So when you take him to 3 or 4 situations, concurrent situations, then you will be able to quickly handle, saying that, hey, whether he's saying the truth or not the truth. Because a lot of times interviews say, BI, no, you can always concoct stories and tell something or the other. It's not possible like that. Okay, your body language will give out. So body language is very, very important. Next, I would always say that rapport building, right? So next comes what? Listening, and how do you do the questioning? How the question method, which is very, very important in an interview. Now, I would also write here, listening becomes very, very important. A lot of people talk more and listen less, interviewers. So especially when you're doing a BI, if you're going to talk more, then where is the opportunity for the candidate to actually narrate or tell things? So interview is all about only 10% you talk, 90% the candidate talks, because it is not about you. It is about the candidate. He has to come out with all the information. So all that you need to do is that golden silence, pause, probe. Okay, then tell me what happened. It's interview. It's like a dialogue between 2 people. So, okay. And then, like Pallavi was asking too many questions, right? So it's just giving him a one question and let him speak. Okay, then, all right. Okay. So that's how you actually get to know. So I talked about 3 elements: body language, listening, and questioning. Now, so when you do listening, it has to be with empathy, but not emotional judgment. Like, for example, Pallavi said, oh, so therefore you're going to be a great team player, great this, great that. It's a total no questions. You're not going to give your judgments. They're not going to give lead questions saying that, oh, we have already selected you. So tomorrow she will say, Ninu will say, you see, that interviewer, she was so proud of my achievements and all that, that I know that I'm going to get the job.
Nirmala, my profile is ESTJ.
Okay. So we say, listen with empathy, but do not get into an emotional judgment or do not give feedback. Interview is not for feedback. Now we'll come to questioning, which is very, very important. Let me just rub this. And that's why I kept that. Okay. Questioning becomes very important, right? So when you question, one is rapport building, right? Is it important, or straight away you will jump into saying that, hey, tell me something about a situation? So rapport building is very important. No, that means trying to create a trust, trying to create a rapport. What are some of the questions you have asked or you will ask when you want to break the ice or create a rapport? Tell me, guys. I'll write down here. What are some of them? First of all, what kind of questions will you ask? Close or open-ended?
Open-ended.
Okay, I'll write here. Then I'll knock off. Okay. Ninu says open-ended. Like?
How's the weather? How was your weekend?
Okay.
Are you working from home?
So when you say, Ninu, how was the weather? It's not a very big open-end. Oh, it's nice, pleasant. How was your weekend? It was good, right? So typically we say not open-ended, but when you're doing a rapport building, typically you're asking something like a close-ended. Okay?
Okay.
You don't want elaborate answer on that. Would you like to have some tea, coffee? Huh? How did you find, were you able to reach the office, our location? Were you able to find the place easily? Did you get some transport? Was it so? You're trying to make him feel comfortable. So that typically closed-ended questions. These are called icebreakers. Okay. Any other icebreaker you want to use? You use typically, Anish?
Yeah, what you mentioned is right. And apart from that, normally we start with the, are you comfortable? Number one, and then definitely the hospitality part comes
I'm
into.
not comfortable, then what will you do, Anish? In what
No,
way
I mean
are
to
you
say,
saying comfortable? I will ask them. And especially family.
yeah. No, not the family lady.
No, I'm just joking. Yeah.
No, I mean to say the hospitality part. No, normally we offer glass of water or tea or coffee sometime.
Yeah.
Thereafter, definitely we check whether you are able to reach on place on
Being
time.
very polite
correctly.
and trying to warm up.
Yeah, we do that all things.
So these
Then we
are
take
called
the family part.
icebreaker questions and close-ended questions. Now we start getting into the structured questions. When I'm doing a competence STRUCTUR, it is structured questions, which I have already prepared. Not like I find people in the organization, recruiter goes and gives the CV. Okay, I have a 10-minute break. I will do the interview. No worry. And he will take the CV and go and ask him any kind of question. No, not that way. If you want the right fit and competency-based interview, you have to plan for them. Understand what are those key questions. As Anish already said, if I'm testing for technical skills, I need a technical person to test them for the knowledge and also for the skill, right? Like for example, a payroll guy, if I have to test his skill, I have to give him a software, ask him to use it and all that stuff. It has to be a structured questionnaire. Now I have to understand, hey, what are those in those structured questions? What are those competencies, behaviorally, behavioral questions I need to check for? What are those behaviors I really require? So I want to test for adaptability. Adaptability in a recruiter. Ninu is a recruiter who has to recruit people from campus. Okay. I want to see, is she adaptable? And I have given a definition for adaptability: the proven ability to perform under changing conditions, adverse, high stress, physical conditions, varied personalities. It could be new softwares, new methodologies. Okay. Then it could also be, okay, all right, I'll leave it to him. Now brainstorm. Before I give you certain competencies, I want to teach you. So how will you go about? What are the questions you will ask to test for adaptability, whether she has this competency or not? All of you think 1 or 2 minutes and give me questions. I'll write the questions here. And I told you adaptability means ability to perform under changing conditions, high stress, adverse physical conditions, varied personalities. And this recruiter, Ninu, is working for a campus recruitment. Now you can understand campus recruitment means how much of travel will be there, different kind of food will be there, different kind of personalities, different situations, everything. Tell me what kind of a question. Take a minute or two to write those questions.
Tell me how you manage your schedule.
Okay. Instead of tell me, here I will only write, how do you manage manage your schedules? Okay, all right. Yeah. Anybody else?
Are you open for traveling, or do you love traveling?
Can you take new challenges?
Full question, Venkat.
No, can you take any new projects?
One more question I'll take and then I will analyze. Can you take any? Anish, I didn't get anything from you.
No, so this interview, if I know for which position we are interviewing, accordingly I can frame the question.
I told you Nino is a recruiter, or did I miss that for you? I told you Nino is a campus recruiter. Campus recruiter means she has to go to different campuses and recruit people. Okay. So I'm testing, one of the key competencies is adaptability. And the definition for adaptability is different people, different situations, changing conditions, high stress, physical conditions, different personalities. Okay. New methodologies, new softwares, all these things.
Yeah. How do you accept? How do you then? I think. Would you like to face the challenges? And what are they in?
Okay. I will just do the analysis part. Okay. How do you manage your schedule? Nino, will you respond to that? I'm asking you a question, Naman. How do you manage your schedule? We are interviewing you and we are saying, hey, how do you manage your schedule? You can just think of your own schedule in the office and just tell us.
I try to prioritize.
Okay. You try to
prioritizing on the important tasks.
Okay. Just keep remembering that. She says, then I'm asking again, Ninu, are you open for traveling? Do you love traveling? Tell me what comes abruptly on you. I mean, you don't have to think so much. Are you open for traveling, and do you love traveling?
Yes, I enjoy traveling.
Can you take any new projects?
Yes, I would love to take new projects.
What is my intent of this interview? I want to assess or evaluate the competency adaptability. So did you see any demonstrated behavior in Ninu? Yes, I love traveling. Can you take any new project? Yes, I can take all new projects. So on the basis of that, when you select, are you able to justify whether she'll be able to do it or not do it? So are you seeing here? They're all, how do you
Close-ended
manage your
concepts.
schedule? Okay, to some extent, okay, it helps you to understand, okay, she's a person who will prioritize, but definitely I have to probe further and to give me a situation and all that. But look at this question, are you open for traveling? It's a leading question. Yes, I'm open for traveling. Do you love traveling? And if I mix both the questions, it's a multiple question. Absolutely a no. Ask only single question at a time. Clarity, guys? Have you received clarity on that?
Yeah.
But
Right.
a recruiter has to travel a lot. And I want to know whether this person, past behavior predicts future behavior. Now, where is the past behavior in this? Did you tell me at any point of time, in your past job, did you have to travel? How much have to travel? How were you traveling? Where all did you go? What am I getting? I'm first of all understanding whether she did any amount of traveling in the past, right? Because this job involves a lot of traveling. Not that whether she likes it or not likes it. Very clear, guys, please. Huh? Very clear?
Yeah.
Go to that.
Yes.
Can you take any new projects? What do you want to know? If there are many projects on hand, will she be able to do? Here it doesn't tell you whether she has done any new projects in the past. How did she go about in the new project? Nothing it tells you. Only she will say yes or no. A close-ended question, which is a total no, because you don't get any kind of a observed behavior in this. No? Rather, what will you ask? You can actually ask saying that, tell me about a time when you had to either handle a lot of projects. Okay. Then if there was an additional project, how did you go about handling? Or tell me about a time when you had to work on new projects. Huh? What were some of the challenges there? How did you go about? What did you do to circumvent the challenges? So you want to know the past behavior when she was taking up new projects. Why? In new projects, there could be a new methodology or number of people more or resources less. Everything is new. So how was she adaptable to that? You want to look at all that things. So, but can you take any new project? It is not showcasing any kind of past behavior. But while in a competency-based interview using BEI, I'm focusing more on situations in the past, critical incidents, right? Very clear? Would you like to face challenges? Yes, I like to face challenges. But that does not showcase whether you faced challenges in the past, what kind of challenges, how did you go about, or what were some of the things which you had to go through. All that is not demonstrated by asking, would you like to face challenges? So this is no future questions. This is like asking in the past earlier, where would you like to be in the next 5 years, 10 years? Nobody is asking that question now. When the market itself is not stable and don't know where it is going, it's pointless to ask where will you see yourself in the next 5 or 10 years. No hypothetical questions now. Everything, because they felt that asking hypothetical questions, the person will suit himself. The answers will suit himself to what the interviewer wants. They will not bring the real you. Are you with me, guys? Anish, Ninu, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Correct.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I want to give one more, and then after that, I will give you 2-3 competencies where I want you all to work. Okay. Something about very interesting. I will just give you a challenging thing. Say for example, very simple, I will rub this. I'm hiring a business HR business partner, or I don't know, in most of the we call as HRBP, but it could be a people business partner. I mean, but common name is HR business partner. What does the HR business partner do? They take care of the entire employee life cycle of an employee for any vertical end to end, right?
Right.
Now, when you
right.
do that as an HR business partner, you need a lot of energy because you're doing everything and also including engagement activities, etc. So you want to check the energy levels. Okay. Mental energy, physical energy, because mental energy, so much of work at any time it can come. There'll be conflicts, to maintain that in the employee relations, there'll be a lot of things. And this is for which role I'm talking about? HRBP. What are some of the questions you will ask to test for energy levels?
Can you take me through a day in the office, through a day at work?
To begin with, I think that is an excellent thing. How does your day look like, right? Huh? Take me.
Yes.
To get an understanding as to what does this person, take me through a day's work. Or you can ask, what is that you do? You do typically in a day. Yeah, excellent. Then anybody else? That's a good question. Then about it. You want to know about energy levels? It could be physical, mental. You could also check out, hey, what are some of the activities, physical?
How do you manage your deadlines?
Deadlines for energy levels, yeah, it comes more in terms of result orientation. Deadlines means concluding things. In terms of energy levels, you could also you also would like to know what is that you do typically in a day, and how do you want to know sometimes odd days, what are some of those days where you have to do, extra, walk the extra mile. You want to know, what are that when you have to walk the extra mile, what is that you need to do. So you will get to know what are other activities you are doing. You getting me? Huh?
Yeah, or we normally also check that key. Would you like to share which was the long day in your office recently you had, and what was the reason behind
that
it?
only
So,
saying that some of those unusual days where you had to
yeah,
stay for a long time in the office. So what are some of those
office.
activities you need to do? Then she will say, hey, one
Yeah,
of these days, this has happened. So how did you feel? What happened? How did you manage, etc.? So it
correct.
gives you a feel of, hey, what are some of these energy levels? Great, guys.
Energy.
So I think you are there. Now all of you have this. We are doing a competency based interview for the same guy, Virgin Mobiles. Okay, you have the job description, you have the competencies which you have to look for. So I will give you 10 minutes and 2 competencies. You can actually, it's a small group, so you can work here itself. I'm going to stop sharing. One of you can put your Word document or Excel, and I want you to assess or evaluate the competency called resilience and flexibility. Please write out the questions. Take about 10 minutes and write out the questions. You have the definition, you have the indicators. Write the questions. What are the various questions? The question should not just conclude. You can ask, tell me a situation about something, etc., etc. So they can be totally open-ended, not leading questions. And so I want you to write a list of questions, work as a group, and you can use this as a breakout room. Don't have to go into a breakout room. These are the two competencies: flexibility and resilience. Okay, is it clear, guys? First you do your own work, then pull it together and put a document. Okay, so your time starts now, and you also have your document with you for flexibility and resilience. And the job is customer champion for Virgin Mobile, customer care champion. So please use that. Tell me about a time when user situations. So right now the time is 4:40. So 10 minutes, you have 10 minutes, 4:50 or 4:55. Two competencies. Please write down the questions. Are you guys doing on your own and then you will collate all the questions?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Yes, guys. Yeah. So you want to put it? You want to share? Neenu, great. This is only Neenu's work. Now the others. Okay. Okay. Ninu, you want to read out?
Ma'am, when I'm sharing, my mic goes on mute, so I don't know what's the problem. So that's
Okay.
why I'll
Okay.
put it.
Why don't you, I will make a note. Yeah. If everybody is ready, then we can start going one by one, and the other one of them can share, the others can share. So, yeah. Why don't you read? Are we all ready to listen to Ninu's questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Ninu. Tell me the question. Yeah. This is on
So for
flexibility or what is it?
on flexibility,
Right.
tell me about a time when you had differences in opinion with a team member, and how did you manage that situation?
Okay. All right. So obviously, then there will be a lot of probing into it. Good question. Okay. Okay.
I've written 3 more. Do you want me to read all of it?
Yeah, yeah, all the 4 questions. Then we will look at the others. Okay.
Okay. Second, tell me about a time when you had to work on a project where external team members or stakeholders were involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Third question,
No,
tell me
no.
about it.
So you are saying, tell me about a time when you had a project where there were external stakeholders involved. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And then what are you going to do about it? I mean, okay, you're asking a question.
Mhm.
And then what are you going to do about it? What are you going to
So,
probe in that?
so this will help us understand how do they deal with people who they are not familiar with. How flexible are they to difference in opinions or ideas with people who they don't know, not their team members, but also because an HRBP would be working with a lot of people,
Right.
not only their team members. So how do they deal with people from outside their team?
So this is like a statement, you see. So for the candidate to understand, tell me about a time when you had to work on a project with external team members. He wouldn't know what to focus on, right? Huh?
Hmm.
You just think about it, reflect on it. Like, for example, in the first one, you said, tell me about a time when you had a difference of opinion and you had to resolve it. So you are saying, hey, tell me about a situation or an incident and what happened, to check the flexibility, and then you will keep probing and probing. But here in the second question, you are saying, tell me about a time, about a project you had to handle with different stakeholders. At best, he might actually say, hey, this is a project I had to do with
Mhm.
new stakeholders. There were external stakeholders. That's about it. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
So you also need to emphasize very clearly to the candidate as to what are you looking out for. Getting it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see
Yeah.
the third question.
Tell me about a challenging situation that you had to face at work.
Now, challenging situation is a little very broad and open. Challenging situation could be anything, no? So one is you can narrow it down to something if you're
Yeah.
looking at. You getting me?
Yes.
Challenging situation is very broad and generic.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to plan more, look at the job role content when I'm saying flexibility for the customer, because this happens to be for a customer care executive. So obviously a situation with regard
Yes.
to whether it is resolving a customer issue or whether, whatever, trying to.
Mm.
Got it? So you
Yes.
have to again fix it. Be a
Yeah.
little more focused. Focus is lacking
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
Focus of the question is not there. That point,
Okay.
hey, what is this question about? What is she looking at? Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's it.
One more question. Tell me about a time when you had to work on tasks outside of your job description, and how did you handle it?
Tell me about a time when you had to do something over and above
Your
expected
job role, and how did you handle it?
job description. Then, or not how to handle it, multiple questions you're making it. First of all, what is it, right? You want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
you want to know what did you do. Then you will start
Yes.
asking, okay, slowly and slowly, how did you go about, what was it, what did you need
Yes.
to deliver, things like that. Okay.
Mm.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. so that the person, how flexible is he to do things which are actually not supposed to be done by him as per his JD format. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's have somebody else. So you understood there were two questions which were not really focused, Nenu. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to Anish. Anish,
Yeah.
you want to put it up?
Yeah, sure. Just again, I will read out for flexibility.
Okay. You want to fix
Yeah.
that Word document or whatever, wherever you have written, or you want
Oh
me to?
no, I meant no, I will read because I wrote in my diary only.
No, sure.
So
Okay.
not in Word.
Tell me.
Oh, I missed to do that on Word.
No problem. Tell me.
Yeah, on flexibility part, I will check with the candidate. Please tell me how do you make yourself available to team in constraint time?
Can I get that question again?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah, during the constraint of time, how do you available yourself to the team?
What shall we rephrase it? Who wants to rephrase it? So there is something called time. He is under the constraint of time. So how is he able to, give himself his time to the team? Anybody wants to rephrase this question?
Can we ask, was there a time when you had to reschedule your work due to time constraints with the other team members, or?
So they will just say, okay, fine, but it is not going to give you so much in terms of, the behaviors. They would just say, okay, fine, we did this or that. It will only end up giving, outcomes. Okay. So typically you will say, okay, tell me about a situation where you needed to give time or where you needed to handhold your team in spite of the time constraints. Means what Anish is saying, that I had to attend to my team in spite of the time constraints. Is that what, Anish, you are trying to tell me?
Yeah.
In spite of the time
Yes.
constraints, how are you going to give time to the team to support the team?
Absolutely right.
Okay.
Exactly, because what happened, no, most of the time we saw that the people are so robust on their own work, but they left some time team behind where team badly needed the team manager or team lead, because ultimately it's a team result functioning what we are looking for, not individual. So that is why most of the time I found that the time management is a very important, and flexibility comes into that when the person manages his own, plus he will help the team to come up.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any other one more question?
Yeah, and then secondly, I would like to ask him, how do you generate the ideas to finish the job in time along with your team? Something on
So
idea
again,
generation part.
when we are looking at Anish, this is the mistake we typically make. How do you generate ideas? Again, you want to look at, hey, has he generated ideas in the past? For any, are you talking about a new project or what is it? How do you generate ideas for what? To do what?
See, the intention is to, the overall question what I frame is, have you challenged any time a robust
Complete
situation?
that question, what you wanted to say. How do you
Generate idea to challenge the robust system in place?
to challenge
Because
the
what happened,
robust
robust system or
system?
procedures system, yeah. Because what happened, no, sometime there is a very what we call it prototype work going on, and that consume most of the time. So whether the person is very flexible to find out the new ways of working, which
So
will complete the
simple,
job in.
no? You can actually check by asking, tell me about a time when you had generated some good ideas for maybe process improvement or for system improvement, for anything. You want to know whether he
It will.
generated ideas. Huh?
No, here what happened, no, he will share what he alone did. with this question answer will come, yes, I have done this,
Right.
this.
Right.
But intention behind is intention is how he helped team to generate the idea. So he's going 1 mile ahead along with the team.
Okay, then you should also ask him then, tell me about a time when you actually helped your team to generate some ideas in terms of process improvement or changing the SOP.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the right way. That's the right way. Yeah.
Okay. And then he
Yeah.
has to tell you what exactly what was the improvement, what did they do,
Improvement
what
and
is that he did to help
exactly.
them, huh?
Yeah.
Those
And
kind.
what was the need behind it?
Yeah, need behind
And
it.
what was the need also?
They are
Yeah.
more interested also in saying that, so how did he go about? Because sometimes what happens, the team is very rigid. When there is a standing operating procedure, so why should I change? Then,
Yeah.
so how is he
Yes.
trying to motivate
Yeah.
them to change from the present to another future system, right?
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely right.
Okay. Okay. Can I have Pallavi?
Yes, I want to say that tell me the time where you have deviated the policies.
You have tell me about a time when you had to deviate a policy. Excellent, good. Because you want to know, okay, you
Yes.
are knocking at the nail of the head of the, okay, and then
Head of the nail.
And one more, tell me the time.
And then what will you say?
No.
You have a follow-up question also.
Yes, definitely. And how he have done it and what was that?
Okay. And so what are you going to gain out of just wanting to?
Just to understand whether he's a stereotype person or whether he's a flexible, because there are situations where he has to take a deviation certain times.
Okay. So now you can ask like this, because it will become like an activist when you say, especially if it comes from an HR person saying, tell me about it, tell me a time when you had to deviate a policy. Okay. Rather than that, tell me a situation where it became imperative or necessary for you to deviate the policy.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, right.
Tell me a time when you deviated. It's like saying tell me a situation when you have to disobey. Huh?
Right. Not like that.
You get me? Huh?
Yes.
It will sound like that when you put a question like that.
Okay.
Because you want to know what was the situation which led to deviating the policy. Because there are many instances where there are certain policies on the ground, you may have to deviate. Like, for example, one which Vilma gave one homework also. See, say maybe at a lower level, somebody has already taken loan, this, that, but he then suddenly sometimes when somebody has become sick and he's needing money. So maybe as for the policy, he can't get extra loan or extra money, but then out of humanitarian emergency, etc., you might have to take a sudden approval from the topmost and say, okay, fine, I need to, no? Right. So how does he do that? How does he go about? And then keeping that in view, does he also create that kind of, arrangement for that in that policy as an exception? Does he keep that? You getting me? Okay. All right. Then next, Pallavi.
Tell me the time when you have to work for an extended hours also. So that shows the flexibility of the persons, because for an HR business partner, the person cannot be a 9 to 5 only, because there are certain responsibilities where he has to extend the working hours also.
Yeah, I agree with you. Tell me about a situation when you had to actually stay back for extended hours, and then you can keep probing what happened, why it, what did she do, and all that stuff. Okay. Do you have one more question?
No, done from my side.
Okay, great. So I made certain changes. I made certain suggestions. I hope all of you have taken cognizance of that. Neenu, especially 2 questions which you also asked, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can we look at this competency? We looked at flexibility.
Resilience.
Can we look at, did you all do which one? Resilience or something else?
Resilience.
Okay. Let us look at resilience. But are you getting the flow and are you getting the right way of approaching a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you want to assess resilience, first of all, you have to be very clear about definition. Handles disappointment and rejection while maintaining effectiveness, right? That is called resilience. That means coming back again, springing back again. without getting demotivated. Now in organizations, especially in HR, I can imagine whether it is Anish or whether it is you, we need resilience because there are many a times when we get rejected, there are disappointments, but we can't stay with them and be frozen in that state. We have to get back to our effective, role. So tell me
Right.
what kind of questions. So you want to see whether that person has that resilience or not within him. Okay. Who is going to be the first person? Anish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, the question is in resilience is how do you handle frequent customer complaint and team is more demoralized? How do you take team to the field now?
How do you handle
Frequent customer complaints.
frequent customer complaints? Okay.
Yeah.
So you, okay. I'm sure in your role you have frequent complaints, customer complaints. Okay. So how do you go about managing them? Right.
Right.
Tell me, you can ask about a recent incident,
Yeah.
which will be
Incident.
far more better than making it a little generic. Okay, because for the
Correct. Correct.
customer people, there will be some horrible customer complaint, there'll be some sticky complaint, there'll be rude
Yeah.
complaint customers. So you can imagine, yeah. And to
Yeah. Yeah.
maintain still your,
Yeah.
courage and to be normal is a great challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great challenge. Very true. Second, in how do you maintain the energy in your team despite of continuously, despite of low increments? Sometimes it's happened the function is not given the desired achieve, and definitely one particular function gets very low increment. Then there's big task to the manager to maintain the energy level of entire team.
Very true, very true. Very often, what happens, the HR people get lower increments, huh? And the amount is
Yeah.
given so less that a lot of people, even if they're great performers, they get very insignificant increments. But again, I'm saying, hey, you have to really work, effectively do that. So, yes, it's a question which is very, very, if you find a person who has, first of all, you have to check, did you ever, was there any situation when you actually received a very low reward? You have to check first, no? Not just spring a question
Yeah,
on
based on data. No, no, no. Based on data only. We do
have
have
to
data.
check and then
Yeah.
go in and ask him for that. Huh?
Yeah, because I would like to share one case here.
Yeah.
In my one of the factory in Calcutta, no, the manufacturing team was there, and they are doing wonderful job.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, the back-to-back 5 years they were not getting the right increment. And
Okay.
when I was visited, I found that team is very demoralized. They are not ready to do anything. Simply,
Right.
they used to come, do whatever best they can do, and get out. Then I found that the
Hmm.
engagement is very low. Then when
Right.
I took the data and come to know, okay, no issue.
Right.
Based on this recent increment, we have given them very nice increment.
So I will
And
pose
believe
that
me,
question to you. So when your team was getting like that, so in a situation like that, so how did you manage to be resilient and yet give best results, Anish? Huh?
yeah, because
Or
see,
how
it was
did you
happened to my
manage
team
to
also.
engage your people? Huh?
Absolutely right. In my team also, out of that 6 team members, 2 got
What is
back to
that
back
you
very
did?
low increment.
So what is
Yeah.
that
So
you
what I
did?
did is, yeah, first of all, what we did is we call everyone who
Hmm.
are the team, my members, and we spoke very openly. Look, we do all know that there are 2 teams members which have not issued the desired increment, but these are the fact behind it. This was the expectation business has given to us. Unfortunately, as a team, we are not able to deliver it. Let's take a challenge. Next year, we will, as a team, ensure that everyone should be at par.
Mhm.
And that engagement first I did openly with them. Thereafter, I took those 2 gentlemen in my room and work very hard with them to understand really where we missed the boat
Mhm.
for that 2 gentlemen and make their development plan in place. Basically, given them very measurable task
Mhm.
and help them to achieve it.
Mhm.
And in 6 monthly appraisal, when we did with these 2 gentlemen, they were at par.
Mhm. So one is So if I was a candidate and I was in your place, so I would say, okay, fine. I built actually trust in the team by coming up open, explaining to them all the facts and figures, bringing about transparency, etc. And then to identifying the gaps, and then how do I bring them up to speed, and what is that you did, etc., etc. Right? A two-step process.
Right, absolutely. Right.
Okay. So can I have other Pallavi's or Ninu's questions on resilience?
Yes, ma'am. For resilience, I've written, tell me about a time when you had to change your plan due to change in circumstances, and how did you go about it?
So let me.
It's quite long. Tell me about a time when you.
Reflecting on the question, saying that, tell me about a situation where you had to change your plan.
Your plan.
Right?
And then, yeah.
And then, yeah.
When they answer, how did you exactly go about it?
Okay. Why are you asking change of plan? Just.
How
does it
to
make?
see how will
what is that you want to probe at? What is that you want to know about him?
To understand how will this person perform when there is a change of plan, like how resilient are they to, or is it like, my way is the only way?
So think about it.
My way is the highway.
So typically you want to say that, not tell me about a situation where you had to suddenly change your original plan, right?
Yeah.
So what were some of the see, you want to know more about what were some of the challenges there, then how did he or she manage to complete that plan or complete that task. See, that is what you want to know, no? In spite of the change, was she able to, come back resilient and do those things? So that means you are talking about a situation where suddenly there was a change of plan, or she was made to change her plan because of certain circumstances. It could be both the ways, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then what is the other one?
Tell me about a time when you faced criticism with regards to your work, and how did you deal with it?
Oh, wow. Very good. You could more ask, tell me about a time you had to face criticism. First question. Right?
Yeah.
Because then the person will come out with what criticism. Okay. Then how did you manage to get over it? Right? What is that you did over it? So sometimes you may have to break a question, because a long question, then it becomes difficult to respond. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay. Pallavi?
I've written one more.
Yeah.
Tell me about a time when you had to use a new process or a system to get your work done, and how did you adapt to it? Or was there a time when you had to use a new process or a system, and once they answer that?
Can you be, it's a multiple question, Ninu. So you have to keep in mind that because for the candidate to respond, one, tell me about a time when you had to use a new process. Okay?
Yes.
So he is giving you that new process.
Yes.
What were some of the challenges, or what were the things which you had to adapt? Because you want to look at adaptability also there, because new process means one is learning, no? Challenges in learning also, a new process, and then accomplishing in it. So you break that question into 2 or 3 parts, and then ask him one by one and keep probing. Whenever there's a question like this of the past, and they had to suddenly change over to a new process, because new process means my willingness or unwillingness to learn, no? Then my adaptability, my comfort level in terms of doing the same old thing as opposed to the new thing. Okay. So you also want to know how keen this person is when there are new things imposed on him, no? So there are several things in this. It's also a question of change management,
Yes, true.
No?
Yeah.
Because suddenly an organization has to shift. A simple thing like, photocopier. You are using something, and then it's okay, suddenly we'll say, okay, photocopier. Or for example, from now on, you won't have secretaries. All of the executives have to learn how to do photocopying. So it's a question of change management, right? But your questions are fine. But here I only see that you need to reflect on your question A and see A. You must have clarity. What do
Yes.
I want to assess or observe? What do you want the candidate to talk more about? So if you have clarity on that, and especially when you're talking about a behavior, does it bring about a behavior or does it bring about just an outcome in this question? Then rephrase it again. Okay? Write it down,
Yes.
rephrase it, because questioning is an art, let me tell you. And it's a skill. It doesn't come easily. We all think that we can just go and then interview a candidate, but it's not so easy, because questioning is a skill. It comes more by practice. Okay.
Practice.
Yeah. Pallavi.
I'd like to ask that tell me a time when your ideas were not accepted by the management and how you have handled it.
I will just rephrase it for you. First of
Yes.
all, I'll say, hey, Neenu, tell me a time, an idea which was not accepted by you. Right?
Right.
Then she will say that this, I gave this excellent idea, but it was not accepted. Okay. Then what was the next question you wanted to know?
How you have handled it.
So when your idea is not accepted, tell me now, what do you want to get out of it? Handle it means what?
See, there are rejections. There are certain times when you're giving us so many suggestions to the management, which can
So
be a
be straight with it.
solutions.
Don't even handle. It is a curse of
Okay.
rejection. I know?
Yes, right.
So that's why I was again throwing that question at you, so that you can come out very clearly. So
Yes.
let's not garb it under handling. So it's a case of rejection. It was not accepted, so it was rejected. So how did you, what is it? Handle this rejection? No?
Right.
So what all did you do? So you will start probing into it. You want to see this person, does he only always success, or can you also handle rejection?
Right.
Okay. All right. Any other question you have?
No.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I have you on the audios, right, guys? Huh? Videos? Just to have a feel of, okay. So we looked at certain questions, give you some practice in terms of probing, how to actually do a questioning for competencies. All right. Now, a general rule. There are some kind of questions which are totally no, and I'm sure all of you know them. Can I get a feel of what are those no questions? I'll use a blackboard. What are those no questions which you should not be asking? Okay, let me put it here. One is leading questions, right? You should know what are these leading questions. What is the leading question? Example. Neenu, you are a team player, right? What will you say? Yes, I'm a team player. Oh, you are a Pallavi. I think you are a great, leader, inspiring people. Let's say yes. So what are you saying? You are actually giving out what? That
The
saying
answer
that
you
you
want.
need to say, yes. So leading questions. Think of some other leading questions. Anish, any other leading questions? Which we tend to do it.
Oh, you always achieve the deadlines. It looks like that.
Yeah. It looks like you're a great team player, leader,
Leader, target. Yeah. Dedicated. You're very dedicated.
So don't give out those leads for which you will say yes, because they're total, what is it? I will put it as no-win questions, no? What is the meaning of no-win question? That means you don't get anything out of them. You are not able to judge or assess or evaluate anything out of them. Okay. 2. Multiple questions. Total no. What are multiple questions? An example? Give me an example, Anish. Anybody? What are multiple questions?
Too many questions in one question.
So I, as a candidate, how will I know which one to answer? I get confused. As a result, I'm not able to justify in responding. Neither are you justified in putting so many questions and saying, hey, he was not able to actually respond to them, right? It's a total no-win question, no? Will you agree? It's a total no-win question. Then, no hypothetical questions. What are hypothetical questions? Today, we don't give hypothetical questions other than where a situation demands. What is hypothetical question? Something, he has to predict. No? Because that's, you have to give something from a situation there. But if you are giving something hypothetical, it does not really make any sense. Guys, very, very strict about no legal questions, no personal questions, right? No personal questions. What are personal questions like? Are you married? What religion? What? These days you don't ask about, because let me tell you, even LGBTs have the equal rights today. So nobody is asking, huh? No caste, creed, religion, etc. These are absolutely a no questions. Okay. Then, in structured
In
questions.
hypothetical,
Pardon?
just give me 1 minute, please. Yeah, normally in HRBPs or any production people, typically, those who are in field, we create a situation to know that how he will behave. Otherwise, what kind of decision he will take, whether he will go with team or not, or whether he has capability to take decision. So we create a hypothetical question sometime.
So when you
So
are
that,
creating hypothetical situation, he will especially when it is related to behavior, he's just not going to be the real self, but he is going to actually respond to the way you want the response to be. It's a very researched kind of let me tell you, the Boziters and all these psychologists have said, don't get into hypothetical questions, especially with regard to behavior. With regard to behavior, what did I tell you in my first class? Iceberg model.
yeah.
Do you want to know the real motive and trait and self-image of a person, or do you want to know hypothetical situation? Hypothetical you can give for a what is it? I mean, in IT we give hypothetical situations to test some of the functional skills, or even in a payroll you can give 500,000 people. How will you go about? What will you use? But what did I say? Not for behavior. Not for behavior, right? Are you
Okay,
very
got
clear about Anish? Think
yeah,
of
get it.
the model only. When you're testing a skill, yes, you can give a hypothetical and say, what will you do? How will you go about? Because there's a science involved in it. It is not your behavior. It is not your motive or a trait involved in it. Okay? It is more technical.
Yeah, get it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
No, you're welcome. So normally we fall into that, asking a hypothetical situations, especially for behavior. But suddenly remember our iceberg model, saying what appears on the surface can be tested by questions, but what appears, what is submerged below, which actually reflects, because of that it reflects, which is behavior, has to be, I mean, definitely more deeper. Okay. That's why we sometimes do psychometric tests as well. Okay, to get a feel of culture fit. Why most of the organizations are doing psychometric tests for culture fit? Pallavi may be very good in her functionally, technically, etc., but she may not be the right culture fit for my organization. Right? And that is most important for me first. So, which is most important, I will test that first, culture fit. Then I will test functional and technical skills. Functional, technical, I will test. And after that, I will find out that culturally she is not fit What's the point? This is like, my recruiters would do very good candidate, ma'am, selector. Then after that, that person will come back and say, ma'am, she does not want to work at night. She does not want to do night shift. So you spent 2 days of going through assessment center, everything. At the end of it, so what is very, very important in an interview? You have to check your motivational fit, right? You have to also check what are those essential things. Does it fit? For example, for a recruiter, is she adaptable? Can she travel? I've seen the best of recruiters. Then, oh ma'am, I really can't travel, you see. But then that's the job. Then I can't take you, right? What a waste of effort and time. So whenever you are interviewing, you have to first find out what is essential, what is very important. Test for that. And then once that gets cleared, then do the others. Are you finding sense, guys? How in most of the organizations we do these things? No? In my organization,
Right.
I recall the times we have best fit. But then after a month, we used to have attritions. Why? Because a person wants to go off overseas. 2, they want to get married. 3, several things. So we give some tests where we ensure that these are the people who are really going to stay. Because I may have the best fit, but if the person is not going to stay, so there is a criteria for it where you have to first check what is motivating. No, I have to find out what is that motivating. Then supposing Pallavi is looking only for money, but my job is not giving money. Yeah, my job will give richness in the job, content in the job, lot of challenge, lot of certifications. But Pallavi is just married, she has a baby, and she'll say, no, for me, no, all this doesn't really matter. For me, money is very important. So even if she's a good hire and I take her, after 2-3 months, if somebody gives her 5,000 more, she'll go away. Are you getting me? There is something called career drivers. I think you have already done it. No? So first of all, find out what is a career driver. So whenever you are hiring a person, whenever you are doing an interview, you have to find out whether there is a job and the person fit with respect to their drivers, what motivates them. Okay? So that's very, very important. Okay? So then when we are talking about competencies, you have to use a BEI technique to ask situations, these situations, not any situations, in particular assessing those competencies and keep probing further. Not just one situation, at least 2 or 3 recent situations which have been a success or a failure. Okay, based on that, then you actually then create verbatim, then you document them, record them, analyze them, and then you will see, hey, you will rate them based on the behavior demonstrated, and you will take a call on the best feasible candidate who will be a very good fit. Okay, guys, I hope I've been able to clear a lot of your queries. I do competency based interviewing and all that real life for 1 day or 2 days, but virtually it becomes very difficult to because these are skills which are, you need practice, questioning and all that. So this in essence, to sum it up, was competency based interviewing through BEI, where the emphasis is more on past behavior. So where you have to ask for situations, no hypothetical, as to clarify, Anish, if it is behavior. But if it is any other thing, you can make a hypothetical, technical, etc. But when it comes to behavior, it cannot be a hypothetical situation. Okay, guys? Okay, and I also justified that it is the iceberg model. So, everything is submerged. So therefore, it takes a long time to develop your motives and traits and all that stuff. Any questions, guys, before we close? Pallavi is already saying no questions.
No questions.
She got so bored of probing and she got bored of her.
No. It is not. Actually, I have learned a lot because till now I was thinking what I am doing right. Now I've come to know where
I didn't want to pick out what you are going on the wrong side, but I made it a little, I could see
Yes.
some things where you were. So I said, let me just be.
Yes.
In the way you analyze the situations, maybe you need to improve upon them.
Right.
The way you ask questions. Simple thing, nobody is a master at it. Before you go for an interview, please write down set of questions. Then see if you are in that candidate too. What you want, first of all, have clarity. What you want the candidate to say. Put that question and see, is it coming out? That's the best way. Rewrite it again, then you will get it.
Right.
Anish, any questions?
Oh, no, ma'am, no question. But yes, I learned too many things today. Now I have very high rejection level in interviews from my most of the functional manager. Now I will go back and see that whether, yeah, the correlation. My
Do correlation
team is just
exercise. You
working
have
like,
data in front of you.
yeah,
Huh?
exactly. Now that
The
immediately
first
from
thing what
Monday
we should
onwards, I
do
have to see
is
that.
rating and then performance rating and see that whether
Right,
you have selected the
right.
right candidate.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
You know? Because unless and
Absolutely right.
until, and also, your productivity should increase if you have taken the right candidate. Yeah.
No, that is one thing. And I have another one challenge. My team is giving 30, 40 CVs for 2 or 3 positions. Still, we are not able to close it. Now I understood today. Probably rightly you said.
Yield, throughput. So you should then you should go step by step. As you know, recruitment is a funnel. So from sourcing till the time you get an order, how many how many of those levels you have? One is sourcing, then screening, selection, then hiring. So look at all of them. Look at the throughput. From 1,000, it is becoming how much? So at every level, look at your yield ratio or throughput ratio. Then you will know whether you are getting the right yield or not, because it's such a huge recruitment cost. If you are hiring yield is even CVs to 2 people
Anish,
joining, you can think of it that way.
Anish, hello.
Vilma.
Yeah, Anish,
Yeah, Vilma, please.
let me just give you one example. When I
Ji.
started, after I left my organization, corporate organization, and I started my own independent HR firm, I first started with training, right? And then I started slowly getting, mandates and, business for recruitment, which I was really not prepared for, right? Because working on the corporate table is different, and when you're working as a consultant, then it is a different ball game altogether. And since it was too early to, even start doing recruitment, it was really difficult. But the first pitch that I got was from Vodafone. I still remember, it was memorable, and it was a great delight that Vodafone calling me and saying, "Would you like to work for us on such mandates?" Vodafone never pitches anybody, right? I don't know how they got the reference, whatever it is. Yeah. And then we started working. And from day one, we started by mapping the competencies. Each and every position, smallest till the highest position, we started mapping. And the rejection we used to do like left and right rejection. Like if anybody comes with 100 CVs, doesn't matter, all would be rejected. If they do not meet even one single parameter, they would be rejected, right? And only 1 or 2 CV would be shortlisted and sent to the client. So that was the kind of CVs we used to send. The other consultant used to send 10 CVs every day. We used to send only 1 or 2 CVs max, and the hit ratio is to be 100%. Right? Any CV gone has to be selected, right? So whenever we were competing with the others, it was always that our candidates got selected. Now, why they got selected? Because the mapping was done very, very strictly, and all the parameters were checked before we really forwarded the CV. So that is why competency is very, very important to map, and see that they meet all the parameters, the behavioral aspect, the technical, the functional, any other thing that comes across which is relevant to the business and the industry for them.
So before I close, I just wanted to tell, in addition to what Vilma mentioned to Anish, so what happens is typically the origin of the problem starts from the way you advertise for a position. So if you do not have clarity when you're advertising for a position, it will then get you a lot of CVs who are actually unfit for that position. So you have to have clarity when you're advertising for a position. What is essential? What is required? If you say customer care executive, I want with essential 3 years of experience and desirable anything, then night shift only, then you won't get people who will say, I'm also wanting to work in day shift and all that stuff. You know, so if you clearly specify your requirements in the advertisement, then it will actually attract the right kind of people. Otherwise, what happens? You will attract a lot of CVs, but then it becomes very difficult unless and until you have an ATS application tracking system. Right?
Yeah, I agree. I
But
agree.
असली में 5 या 10 ही fit
Right.
करेंगे.
For example, as you said, customer care. If you don't write very specific things, you might start getting lot of CVs, but may not be relevant, because customer care would require calling. The role requires calling, right? Outbound calling or inbound calling, taking calls. Do they have the expertise to handle 100 plus calls? Because your need is at least 80 to 100 calls a day should be handled by the customer care, right? Not merely taking 10 or 20 calls or doing some informative calls. No, that will not work. So you have to specify 100 calls, so the person should have the stamina and the agility to handle 100 calls a day.
Absolutely, you are on the dot, because I have
Absolutely.
actually recruited a lot of people in a BPO, recruiters who are not used to bulk hiring. So when you hire a person who's been doing only 5 positions, 6 positions, and a recruiter who has to do bulk hiring of 100, 200, it does not have the skill sets, right? So you have to be very,
Absolutely.
very
Absolutely.
Okay, guys, take care and have a great day. And also, thank you. All of you will have to do some projects and you will get your certification. But feel free to connect or write if you have any doubts, clarifications, or any kind of a support required. Okay? All right.
Thank you very much.
One and all.
Thanks, Nirmala.
Okay.
And
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nirmala. Thank you, Nirmala, Pallavi, Anish, Ninu, Venkat.
Ma'am, can you stay back for 2 minutes? I have a question.
Yeah, Ninu want to talk, I believe. Ninu.
The trend line, I'm still not sure of that. So I made the chart and all of that, but the trend line, how do I read that?
Trend line. Okay. Are you able to hear me? I mean, am my voice audible? Okay.
Yes.
So step 1, you selected the data, that is array 1 and array 2 data. You went to insert. Then after that, then you went to chart. And in chart, you looked at scatter graph. And then when you clicked on scatter graph, you got a chart with just dots, right?
Yes.
Only with dots. Now you want to know how to put a trend line. All that you need to do is, when you're working on a laptop, you have this pad, right? Which has a left and a right.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah.
We are rotating and we have a pad where we are having a left and a right. So click on the right side, keeping your cursor on any position, that is any blue, that is the position. Okay? Click on that. When you click on the right side, then you will get something called add a trend line. Okay? Yes. Now, when you get to add a trend line, you click on add a trend line. You want it linear. You will get all kind of variations, but you want a linear trend line. You click on that and you get a trend line. And you still have any? Can you put it up and I will show you? Can you do a?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Ninu, you can share your screen.
Can anybody share and I will show you? I have no.
Yes, I'll share my screen. It's just that I'll be on mute, but then I'll listen to you.
No problem.
Oh.
I will make you do it, then you will get it. This is yours. You can just put it up in chat, yes or no, if you are not able to speak. Okay. Now, so what you need to do now is, you are getting all the blue. So if you can clear off all your charts. delete all your charts. Delete them. Delete all your charts. We will do one chart first and you can do the other one. Now, what you do, you have something called data, rating interview data, performance data. So don't take the titles, rating and performance. Just take the data, 5 and 4. Select that 2 areas. Okay, after selection, go to insert. Okay, if you have gone to insert, then you will have a scatter chart. Okay, fine. You have already got the chart. Now what you do, click on any blue point, any of the blue position, click, and keep your cursor there and do a right click, and you will get add a trend line. Click on that blue point and see if and do a right click, because this is Macintosh, right? You have a Mac, isn't it? Linear. I can see a linear line. Yeah, you got it, no? Now you can do the other one if you want.
So I think her question was something. No. Her question was something different.
Pardon?
Nirmala, her question is not how to bring the trend line. Her question is how to read the trend line.
Yes,
Was
that's
it how
right.
to
Yeah.
read the trend line or how to do the trend line?
No, how to read the
How to
trend
read.
line.
Okay, fine, just open it up, I'll show you. Okay, now if you see that horizontal line, which is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, these are, okay, ratings of a interview of the candidates. And the vertical line, which is 2, 4, 5, 9, 10, these are ratings, performance ratings of the candidate. Got it? So you have two variables. One is interview ratings, the other is performance ratings. Done? Now, when you see a trend line, what is happening? As the performance interview ratings are going higher, you are not seeing any performance rating going up. Means one variable is increasing, you are not seeing the other variable going up. Are you seeing that? It is almost like a straight line. That means there is no correlation. That means there is no relation between these two variables. So when Deepak, is it Deepak or Ashok? When Ashok is doing an interview, there is no correlation between the ratings he is given to these candidates for the interview with what the performance ratings which they have after 3 to 6 months. Are you getting me? Now next, just do the other one and I will tell you how it goes. Do the Deepak wala. Click on one. Yeah, do the trend line. Yeah. So now here, if you can see that there is a correlation between the ratings of the interview and the performance ratings. And if you see, then it must be 0.64 or something. So when the interview rating is high, even the performance rating is high. So you can see the trend line, which is actually not straight like the earlier one, which is going up. Okay, Ninu? Yeah, if you can close and if you can tell me. Ninu, have you understood now?
Not really, ma'am. I don't know. I'll have to spend some more time, I think, on this because I just feel like it's for different people. So if we are looking at Ashok, for example, it is 5 and it is 4. And the next is for another person, right? So why will it be the same? It will definitely be different.
It's like this. It's like this. See, you have taken a set of people, 8 people or 10 people. All right? Okay? Same.
Yes.
Now, They have been interviewed both by Ashok and Deepak. Okay?
Yes.
The same set of people have been interviewed by Ashok and Deepak. Got it? Now,
Yes.
Ashok has given a different interview, panel interview. Ashok has given a different interview rating and Deepak has given an interview rate, different interview rating. Got it? Because you are wanting to check who's a better interviewer. Now, the performance rating is the same. Have you seen? It is not different. Only
Yes,
the
that's
interview rating differs. You're not having two different performance ratings. All right? Now
yeah.
you want to see between Ashok and Deepak whether there's a correlation between the interview ratings and the performance ratings. Higher the correlation, better the interviewer. Lower the correlation, poorer the interviewer. Have you got it? Did you get now?
No, I will just spend some time on it. Let
And then you
me
can
see.
always revert back. Okay?
Yes,
You
okay.
can always
Yeah.
check back. First of all, do a little reading on correlation, what it means. It is a statistical tool and an analysis. What is it used for? What is correlation? Means actually correlation means establishing some kind of relationship between two variables
Okay.
which are unrelated. There's nothing like an independent variable and a dependent variable. That is also there when you do something else called a regression. But when you're doing correlation, there are two variables. You want to establish a relationship. So you want to see that when the heat goes up, whether there is an increase in the sale of ice creams. Is there a correlation between the heat, that is the temperature, and the sale of ice creams? Got it? So what are you establishing? Is there a correlation between the temperature? As the temperature goes up, does the sale of ice creams go up? You are establishing a correlation. So likewise, you are saying, hey, you are establishing a correlation between the ratings of the interview and the ratings of the performance for the same set of candidates done by two interviewers.